Demi. He is here and excited to talk with you all.
Check. There we are. Shalita Lynn, good to see you. Gosh, I didn't know where to start. There are a lot of incredible human beings. House. And it's Friday evening, June Waller. I mean, come on. This is incredible. I didn't even know where to start, but I'm really humbled to see you all. This is our third one. We did District 5, we did District 6, and District 3 is in the house. Yeah. And this is the largest group so far, so it's really, thank you for showing up. It's Friday evening, and you could be out doing so many things, and here you are Friday evening. And if I was to guess why you're here, you're here for one of two reasons. There's a pain point, there's something that is going on in your neighborhood or in the city, and you have great concerns. I thank you for showing up. Or you just want to participate in the decision-making process. And thank you for showing up. Democracy is best when people show up. You know, we are a nation, we're a land of the people. And I'm honored and humbled to represent you. The reason why we're doing this is, before I get too far in my administration, it's really important for me to hear your concerns, to hear your needs, so that I can incorporate that into our longer-term strategic planning process, which Courtney Brown is helping me with and the city with. So know that your feedback, your input, your comments, your concerns are really important to me. I will not stand up and promise that I'm going to solve everything. I mean, that's just unrealistic. But I can tell you that we will attempt to solve some of these pain points. I know our city is growing, a lot of needs. I hear you, I hear you, I hear you. It's why I ran, and I want to deliver on that promise. I have a great team of city staffers that want to serve you. They will be helping me in this quest. So I hope you like this format, because I do like this format. It gives Nate an opportunity to get to each other, and hopefully as we listen to each other, there's shared experiences and consistent themes you'll hear. So we're about to move to the spotlight, and I can't wait to hear from you. You've probably already met City Council member at Mark. I'm glad to hear. Oh, one more thing. Michelle Talarico, your council member, is sick, and she cannot be here today, and she is so bummed, and she sends her greetings. All right, Courtney.
All right, we ready? So this is the cafe spotlight time, and that means that we call it harvesting your ideas. We want to hear all of what you have to say in a minute and 36 seconds. So, how this is going to work is, I'm going to get more steps in than I've had today, which is 12,000, and I'm going to go to each table. So you guys point out when I get to your table who is presenting, and I'll give them the mic and set the timer. And I'm going to be really nice at the beginning when you're getting to your time, okay? I'm going to get closer and closer and closer to you, and then I'm going to grab that mic and move on, because if I don't do that, not everyone's going to get everything in, okay?
And she's not very nice.
I am too.
Let me tell you, I've been to a few, and if she's coming close, that means she's gonna you need to wrap it up.
Okay, so Joe, I'm dead. Oh, okay. Her? Oh. We're on. We're on. Okay. We're in order. I'm just going to pick a table. So who's presenting from this table? All right. Miss Mary, your time starts now.
Thank you. We said doing well. People supported the HOT team and their efforts. They also said we need more help with mental health and drug addiction. We should also hire homeless people to do cleanup. We should also have a discussion with people who are homeless present. On reliable infrastructure, we said free buses and shuttle are wonderful. We need funding to take care of what we already have, to maintain it well, and that our values need to be reflected in our budget. The values, the things we most care about. And for number 3, we said economic vitality. We have to keep things clean. Again, the issue of trash. Taxes are fine if we know what they are going for, and we need incentives. And we should also have a lot of job training, which would include those in the lower level jobs, which need to have better wages.
23 seconds, that's the record to beat. Okay, next table.
Hello. Our findings for public safety was that there's no sense of priority, that there's no transparency, oversight, and accountability. And why are there so many cops on one call? That affects public safety. When they can't go out to another call, they have 50 cops at one call, and it's just boggles on the and let's see what else. There's private, instead of policemen coming out to every single call, I think we can utilize our community services people or department. We don't need armed forces, armed police to come out to every single call, and I think that would free up policemen and community service people who are able to come out. As far as the mental health piece, everyone is talking about the mental health piece for our community. I also think that our policemen should have mandatory mental health evaluations 2 or 3 times a year, or after every visit. Okay. And for the infrastructure, we need the buses to be funded so that they can remain free for the citizens. What is it?
Can you hear me? Cedric Mark, formerly incarcerated for 22 years. I'm not enough to work without this thing. Our table said we need the same things. We want the police, the teachers. We want the police and the teachers and everybody in the community to understand that we are all part of that exactly a community and to work in a collaborative effort to bring out the greatness of this city. The fact that I, a formerly incarcerated person, who is speaking for this table, I think is illustrative of the beauty of my community, right? Infrastructure, on concrete couch, we have that huge fight going on with the utilities company. You know about it, you're welcome to our land, we have a tour plan for you. Excuse me 1 second while I find the notes. I was talking about that. No, I need to go. Alright. But I speak that. The bus system, the transportation, we said that with this being a limit, then the bus system should be reflective of that. We said also that the parks are important. Again, how should we believe that? But the rest of our table kind of highlighted that. Homeless people, when something happens, we need for somebody to come out, they don't necessarily need to have a gun. These are people, when you just put them into a corner, they don't go away. When you put me in a cell, I don't go away, sometimes you come back, you want to come back and participate. We can contract with them to produce snow. We can contract with them to help clean up the place. And in so doing, pay them. Value your teachers, pay them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Started with economic growth, definition of economic vitality. In fact, public city services, we just rolled that right into it. We look, there we go. Energy and environmental sustainability, training programs for trades and skills, art and culture, housing, affordable compared to the jobs, and attracting more businesses. As far as public safety, police and fire response times, homeless camps need to be addressed. We need more shelters, more job opportunities and training. We need mental health for them. We need to work with the county and facilitate the programs. Community programs make a difference instead of more police. To take domestic and mental health off the plate of police. Better train for the community and funding and outreach to utilize the church spaces and to mitigate the refugees from other places coming here. Evacuation routes and education need to perform service. Later in the evening, bikes, e-shuttles, little mini buses because the transportation system is not that good. We need more storm drain abatement. Homes, code violations actually addressed. We need small focus groups within the community to brainstorm and problem solve.
Awesome.
So I'm here with the Asset Wow organization and also with Mr. Force. So we have 4 questions we were given. The first one is about public safety. So we want to have more outreach to the community, help educate the community on public safety, health, all those relationships, and also for the police to have more engagement with the community, so that they don't feel like, the community doesn't feel like the police are like an enemy, but they can feel like that's somebody that they can look up to in the future. And then we want to, an idea that was mentioned was to invest in training rather than the buildings. So building a new police academy is good, but it's better to invest inside the training the officers as well. And then we also need more ambulances. So for reliable infrastructure, it was mentioned that the bus system is good, it's free, but sometimes it doesn't feel safe, and we want to make it more efficient. They also mentioned that it would be good to have bigger roads, but we're building bigger areas there, like bigger apartments. And also look into getting highways inside the city. And then ideas for the wintertime is heated roads. Economic vitality, since we're called Olympic City, we want to have the Olympics here in 2040. So Olympics in 2040. Continue to support small businesses. And then for the last one, other city services, then if we can have a plan to have the local organizations here help work with the community leaders such as the mayor yourself, so we can, like our organization has what we help with whatever we can do to support the Colorado Springs community.
I think we looked at the first thing that came up, things for us were really city transparency and decision making. Did vote for you on that? That was part of your agenda. I'd like to see more transparency, and I think we all would. Some of the positives we took away from it was, the work with the fire department, wildlife. Okay, with fire mitigation, fire department, wildfire mitigation, and the online presence that local app and some of the other things you guys have done online are real positives for us. The street art and some of those other items. A big one for us, I think really for everybody here, is homelessness. And it's a hot button item, it's a complicated item, and just at this table there are a lot of very ways of trying to address their thoughts and addressing it. Anywhere from moving along to addressing the issue and dealing with the animal health and the drug and the crime issue with respect to the homeless. I mean, they have a part. I don't know what else they need. The big one that came up was transportation, bus service in general. We only have one hub that services this whole That's just a big disservice. I don't see why there wouldn't be more hubs throughout the city and smaller buses and larger buses transporting individuals between the hubs, reducing the amount of time.
They're all done. Thank you.
All right, on economic vitality, we're happy about support for small businesses and our tourism economy. We'd like to see more reinvestment in aging or condemned properties and businesses that have closed. When it comes to safe neighborhoods, we're happy that outreach teams exist, but we think that police, particularly police that are dealing with individuals who are unhoused, often lack empathy, compassion, and are not treating people with dignity and respect. When it comes to infrastructure, we're very happy about the free buses for the summer. We'd like to see that continue in perpetuity. We're happy about bike lanes, and we need more low-income, subsidized affordable housing. We need to be investing our city money in that. On other city services, we're happy about the artwork that we see, but it's too hard to access city services. People are forced to go from agency to agency, so we need to centralize a lot of those services and make it easier for people to access them. We'd like to address food deserts. We'd like to see public bathrooms and trash cans, and we'd like to see more benches and for people to be able to sit and enjoy the outdoors in peace. So.
4 seconds left. Ready? Okay, my name is Julia, and we decided this is the Wise Women table, with the exception of somebody that's under 40. A lot has been said that we were, this is the collapse of civic structure in our country, and things that build healthy community, like where is that and what are we going to do about that? Churches are closing, all different kinds of, we talked about housing that's priced, so this table can afford it, like maybe community housing over 55 plus. We felt like a lot of improvements have been done for the unhoused population recently, especially for women and children. But housing is too high, everything is too high. Salaries are too low, bus system not efficient. We're concerned about the education system. We're glad we're attracting new industry and workers. We have a lot of relationship with what's going on downtown, because it was so pretty, and there's all this new building and new everything, but it's unaffordable. So, am I done? Thank you.
Hi, and thank you, Mayor and Councilman, for doing the listening sessions. We appreciate it. One of the things we really appreciate about the city is we have clean air, we have nature, we have places to go for tourists. It really draws people here, and that really helps a lot with the economic health of our city. We appreciate that. We should continue to support that kind of thing. The one major thing we agreed upon was affordability of living here in Colorado Springs, especially for low-end workers, people who are labor positions, fast food, things like that. Housing is very, very high. They cannot work all day and then pay all their bills. It's just too hard. We gotta do something about that. There are a lot of homeless people, we all know that. I don't want to be a dead horse. We need to do something, have some kind of collaboration to help these houseless people be able to get on their feet and work and have sustainable life here in Colorado Springs. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, and the organizers for the greatest city in the States of America. So number one, economic vitality. This is Olympic City. We need to bring international level athletic events to our city. Like high-speed hill climb, the same thing for cycling, bring them in, and which then spawns into all the businesses from Colorado Springs to Vancouver. So that's one thing we definitely want to see going to the area. For infrastructure, again, this is Colorado. Most of us love to look at the mountains. So the city should absolutely follow to the law, city planning process for environmental impact standards. We looked at Dorchester Park right there and what's going on with the revitalization of South Nevada. It's great. Thank you very much for actually revitalizing some of our area. However, when you put up 400 apartments in an area where we have residents that can't get out in case of a fire, that is a major concern for us. Again, I'm very thanks. And since no private roads, I'm also going to bring up the roads of our areas. We all know that some of the roads have potholes bigger than you see. It'd be nice to have a plan of attack instead of just a little fill it out with asphalt and call it a day. So maybe come up with a better standard for that. And last but not least, public safety. Enforcing the law when it comes to criminals. We talk about homeless, but enforcing the laws for the lawbreakers is one of the main things that we want to see for our city.
Thank you.
All right, so we really prioritize two areas of public safety and infrastructure. Ultimately, we agree that we really need to be thinking about how we can invest in our community and expand our conceptions of public safety, because it goes far beyond policing, housing, parks, transit. All of these things are actually also public safety. So rather than over-investing in the police and allocating them a very large percentage of our city budget, we should be instead funding things like crisis response teams that are actually equipped to deal with mental health crisis, substance abuse, and the unhoused. We should also be funding housing, public affordable housing with wraparound services. We should be making sure that the police are actually like a part of the community and able to engage with it rather than just like kind of outsiders coming in. We should also be investing in things like structured open spaces for youth, making sure that there is adequate access to food, especially in communities here like Hillside. So that could be providing grants for nonprofit grocery stores, expanding community gardens, all kinds of things like that. We also want to invest in additional job opportunities and just really making sure that instead of funding a police department that is currently being sued by the ACLU for violating the constitutional rights of community members, our funds are actually going to things that build and strengthen our communities. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Leanne, Coronado High School graduate. We agreed that parks funding was a priority. We have enough parks, but they need irrigation, they need repair, they need upkeep, and it needs to be safe to be able to use the park so that you're not attacked by a dog, so that there's something you can do about off-leash dogs. Mine personally is the off-leash dogs and waste. We talked about walkability, to be able to walk to the parks. In my neighborhood on District 5, Cash for Food, there were several crossings that were removed this year so that I can't cross Cash for Food, I have to go down and around. And we came up with several areas that we listed for our facilitator, areas where you would think you could cross both sides of the street. You could cross east, west, north, south. But these are being removed or never built. So that walkability ties into transportation, which we didn't get as much into, but we'd like to be able to use public transportation because of driving as a driver on the streets. I do have family members that have been seriously injured, and looking at that there are websites that are trying to address this issue of just the safety of cars, homelessness. Thank you.
Hi, I'll try to bring up a few new topics. One is the app. People thought in general it's quite good. However, once you get into the app, it's sometimes difficult to navigate. So we need to work on the user interface. Secondly, economic vitality. People thought that the mayor's roadmap was quite good. However, once you get into the steps, the roll-down steps, often you get lost in it. There's a variety of steps you have to take, and it makes it quite difficult for someone who is trying to start a small business, which we all know is so important to the city. In terms of building, we felt that the regional building needs to be checked, and that licensing fees should be cut and approved more quickly if we really want to get the city going. We need a plan from Howard. We currently have one, but based on some input from the group, it needs some improvement. The city itself could do some fire mitigation on city-owned property, since we all know that that's so important. When it comes to 911, some people are unhappy, and people need to know, and perhaps this is a marketing issue, to sign up for peak alerts or to use the app, and that's how you get through to 911.
Okay, I'm Doug. Lots of things have been mentioned. Our group thought that the public safety is different in different parts of the area. There's a suggestion in the southeast part of town, there's a stigma, and STAR program we thought was a good idea, which is other areas do that. Housing that's being built does not seem to be affordable. The big huge high-rises and stuff, there's nowhere for people to park from those. Homeless camps are allowed to continue non-stop for years, and nobody does anything about them in certain areas. Being proactive about keeping parks clean, the whole park, not just certain areas, and we'll keep out issues. Fire concerns about if the fire department is really ready for high-rise fires, now they're going to have lots more high-rises. The buses are too big for the ridership that's currently available, so maybe you ought to downsize the buses. And our understanding is there's no buses to the airport, which is, I thought, bizarre. There should be room to go from the park and rides to the airport. Let's see, I mentioned parking. We did have a debate over lighting in the area. Some people think there's too much, some people there's not enough, but we all agree that the color is bad. But they're way too, when they do have a street light, they're too bright, and it's way more offensive now than it used to be warmer. But the type of lights is where we want to focus on, the type of lights. Developers are not paying their full share and want way more transparency for where all the city's money goes.
Thank you.
Hey, my name's Justin Cole. Can everybody hear me? All right. So first, for infrastructure, from a utilities perspective, we're interested in improving public outreach and education, how ratepayers can conserve both energy and money, just through residential, commercial, technological upgrades, behavior changes, especially from a residential perspective. And then we're also interested in investigating community-scale solar projects, especially for low-income neighborhoods, specifically leveraging a lot of state and federal legislation that has opened up a lot of money. So next, from a public safety perspective, we want to improve incentives to hire and retain law enforcement officers rather than just a new police academy facility. Perhaps consider funding a higher number and providing training opportunities. There's also a problem with legal illegal Airbnbs in the city. They need to be identified and regularly shut down. Next, on the issue of homelessness, 85% of the unhoused folks in the city are from here. So I know that everybody is working really hard to understand and address root causes. Please keep doing that, knowing that there are neighbors. Next, economic vitality. We focused a lot on education here. So that's the foundation for a resilient local economy. We've seen a lot of teacher retirements and young new teachers teaching our kids can't afford to buy homes in our city. A strong economy starts with a school system that can afford to pay its teachers well. Next, we have great college prep programs for high school kids, but for those who are not interested in pursuing a 2- and 4-year degree, we would also love to see similar incentives for things like vocational programs. And then making city council paid positions to open the door to a larger pool of community leaders in local elections.
All right, Weldon Clark, public safety highlights. Primarily what our table was relationship building with community leaders, that is police, fire, the other entities are elected officials. Trust building is very important. Communication, to and fro, basically give us feedback. Transparency. We need to improve our processes. What we mean by that are the issues and concerns of reporting. Reporting our concerns if you see something we call 444-7000, can't get through. You go online to report something that says print out the form, fill it out, drop it off at the police station. Interaction, we need follow-up. The citizens, the community needs follow-up from the police department, the fire department, code enforcement. When something is submitted, the citizens, the community wants feedback. A major issue of public safety was the homeless issue. We support the issues or the resources that are currently in place. And we want to give kudos to the HOT team and the CSOs, the community service officers. They're not necessarily the sworn officers with the guns and the badges, but they go out and do things that alleviate those people. We would like to see more of them and also increase in the HOT team. Mental health was also addressed, and that was a major issue. We don't know how to solve it, but we want to help. Reliable infrastructure, city services. General opinion was residents do not feel represented in the city infrastructure. Development in the city with the community needs to come together.
Thank you.
Thank you. For economic vitality, we talked about more affordable housing. Seems like we're building a lot of housing, not all of it's affordable. And the need for people to be heard, and that means both the neighborhood and also as projects are developed, we need to simplify the process. So that's a huge tension that's going on within a city. And also we talked about training and vocational training in our community. Under relevant infrastructure, roads and traffic, we need help with those, a lot of potholes. And also water conservation, and also keeping our waterways clean and attractive. We talked a lot about collaboration between government, private, nonprofit, and how that might work. We think built and open spaces is doing great. We need to collaborate not just locally, but throughout the state and the nation with GoCo and Public Land Trust, TOS, and bring everybody together. Thank you very much.
I'll make this quick. So, a couple of things we discussed is pretty much what we've heard throughout the night. Parks, recreation department funding needs to be put back in place to 2008 levels. Quality of life is really important. We also want to take back the trails to where folks can feel comfortable and safe and biking with their families without being interrupted by homeless communities or squatters. So maybe just more law enforcement in the area. More efficient transportation. I heard someone mention public transportation to the airport. It is ridiculous for a city of this size not to have that. So we can definitely use more efficient public transportation connecting the southern and northern part of the city, as well as the east and western parts. We actually need to also put more money in education, in the infrastructure of the education, the buildings, the teachers, things that we say are important, need to reflect that with our money. And also the city, as we grow, we need more resources for our adaptive community, adaptive needs community. They need to have access to really wherever they'd like to go. And then also people with maybe mobility issues or anything like that, we need education, economic growth, and participation really from folks with adaptive needs. So those are some of the things we discussed.
Paula?
So safety in neighborhoods was not a huge concern. We did want to give kudos to the DART team that does a great job of policing in the central city. Also, we want to lift up the the fire department that does homeless and outreach, that they're doing well. It was noted that some of us find being in relationship constitutes safety, so there a lot of talk about just working in your own neighborhood to get connected. The one concern for safety actually came from a resident of a shelter who does not feel safe, and we're seeing that we need to look at what are the grievance procedures for our citizens that are in our shelters. On reliable infrastructure, yes, to most of the things that were said about mass transit, let's keep expanding it, keep it affordable. There was a lot for the utilities project COPE and the trails. However, there are struggles for being on the sidewalks in the city, that they're not all in good condition, that pets are not always kept under control, and that's a distraction and a problem for citizens. There's also the people who've been left on hold with 911, how, and the one person even just went to dialing the ambulance directly. So look at that. There is some concern about teching out elderly. We need to use our public utilities.
Thank you, Mayor and Councilman Weinweber. We recognize that the city utilizes public media well, but we'd like to see better mechanisms to distribute citywide information, including acute public safety issues that don't rely on technology, because not everybody has that accessible. In terms of economic vitality, we appreciate revitalization downtown in the South Nevada corridor, but there's too much attention downtown in terms of housing and businesses, and opportunities should be explored in other communities for growth. In terms of infrastructure, we'd like to, the city should be proactive in re-evaluating annexation, water use. We should invite grocery stores to be downtown to accommodate the growing population there, and we'd like to see more senior citizen centers citywide. In terms of public safety, we would like to address homelessness by connecting homeless individuals with services, more multi-agency teams to address mental health and alleviate police response times. And we'd like to explore expanding the police training academy in either new building or the existing facility. Thank you. 30 seconds left.
All right, on the safe in the neighborhoods, we talked about the interaction with the cops and local here, by giving them more training as far as what they're dealing with and who they're dealing with versus, coming in with the rah. Then we also talked about the infrastructure. Right here in Hillside, right now today, there's 17 street lights that are out right now. That'll be out next month and on to December. So we got to give our people in this community something to be able to go outside for it. I want to go outside at night too when it's cool, but you can't because of those street lights and the bad things happen at night. All right? Downtown where we're having gentrification. I look at that equals genocide. You pushing off everything down there. Can't nobody afford it. Nobody afford it because we have all the homeless. You're pushing into the neighborhood where all the elders are there, right here on next to Prospect Lake. You can't. The elders that are over there in Prospect Lake, they can't get outside because they're afraid. And then behind the houses and roads and stuff, those potholes over there are coming. They were like small creeks. Let's go over there and step out behind the houses, but they're like small creeks. All right, public transportation. Again, somebody spoke with me about the ride to Denver, to the airport and stuff like that. The parks. I run a small mentoring group. We have to go way to Cherry Creek just to camp out with our kids. We got these small lakes and stuff like that, but we don't have nowhere really. We got a lot of open space, but nobody's doing anything with it other than letting it go to waste right now in my eyes. Economic vitality, we talked about that. We'll go back again with the power program. I'm running the power program right here. We talk about the police accountability and all that stuff. I can take you back to my gym right there in Old Cape, man. There's 7 cops sitting behind it right now. They should be police.
Good evening, everyone. I think we touched on many things that y'all touched on, so we'll keep it high level. It seems to us that the city is just not keeping up with growth and expansion in terms of safety, in terms of infrastructure. It's a very patchwork set of solutions to really systemic problems. So we'd like to see through this strategic plan, perhaps, more systemic solutions. So among those, we really would like to see some work done in terms of response times for police and first responders. We would really like to see some affordable housing. We would like to see an effort to include communities and to not just include them in processes, but to listen and to integrate the feedback that is given so that the folks in our communities see the result of their participation and they see that as part of their community. We also would like to see collaboration between neighborhoods, development, and I'm losing the name of it. What is it? A CBA, a Community Benefit Agreement. It's really, really important in these neighborhoods that are getting gentrified, that folks have a voice and that developers are responsive to the communities.
Wow. Is that every single table? Yes. Awesome. You guys should be really proud of yourself. There was some in the mic. And so you will be heard. So make sure I get every single piece of paper you wrote down on, okay? Leave it at the table and we're gonna collect them at the end of the night. So don't take anything you wrote down, leave it here. Now, for the fun part. The mayor heard you. So we want to give him an opportunity to tell you what he was hearing.
First of all, thank you to all the spokespersons in your table. Can I see your hands? Okay. How many of you were voluntold? 1. Okay. Well, thank you for stepping up. I see 2. If you were voluntold or you volunteered, thank you for speaking up. So, thank you also for the gift of your feedback, and please remember to turn that into us because we will review and we will collect these information. I'm going to say a few words that I know Councilmember Langweber too is going to give a few feedback. If I was going to summarize your feedback, I heard a lot about what's unique about this listening session is that a lot of your feedback to me is saying, let's be creative and let's be innovative to many of the problems that our city are facing. I kept hearing that theme over and over. I heard it with mental health as we approach mental health as a way to solve some problems. I heard it also with transportation, reliable transportation, more access more ease, ensure that as our city grows, we have the bus and mass transportation for the growing needs of our residents. I also heard it around homelessness. I'm pleased to hear that you care, and at the same time, safety for our residents, especially the ones that use the trails. I heard a lot about parks in our trail system. I also heard it with regards to housing affordability. That's a big one for me too. I ran on that, and it's one that we are actively working on. That one keeps me up at night, if I'm being honest. It's a real crisis. We've convened, and by the way, we've convened solutions teams around each one of these initiatives. Housing, public safety, infrastructure, as well as economic vitality. So we have teams of leaders from across the city working on solutions that they will present to me. I also heard in the theme of public safety. I heard, yes, we need to improve our response time. Yes, we need to improve training, but also we need to emphasize and lean into more community-based programs that can also help with our public safety needs in reality. I think that's it. So there's certainly a lot more, but those are the things that rise to the top. I want you to know that you matter, your neighborhoods matter, and I look forward to representing you in this next chapter of our city's history. The pain points that you feel, I feel it too. I'm a parent of 3 young kids, 9, 6, and 4, and we feel some of the same challenges too, and we want some of the same things that you do. I get to help represent you. And again, thank you. Now I heard there are 2 other values that I heard. I heard collaboration. Yeah, absolutely. The neighborhoods need to have a voice at the table. Thank you for being a part of the solution. I also heard transparency. Please know that no one wants that more than I do. My city team members have heard me talk about 3 core tenets of how we will govern this next season in our city's history. If you haven't heard that till now, I'm really sorry, because you need to know, almost on a daily basis, I'm talking about this with my team members. You know, three core tenets. Number 1 is transparency. It's what I signed up for, and it's what you deserve that from me, from your mayor, and from your city government. We have nothing to hide. I have nothing to hide. Ultimately, it is my intent to make decisions that are best for our city. The second one is a government that is proactive. So we take initiative. We're not waiting for our residents, but we will continue to be proactive as much as we can. And the third one is that we are approachable or accessible. And this setting is one of those reasons, one of those settings that you know that you have access to the mayor's office. And the last thing I would say is I created a new office called the Office of Community Affairs, with emphasis in cultural affairs, military government, as well as neighborhoods and the faith community. The reason why I created that office is as a friend put it, they put it best. He said, it's like you're bringing the mayor's office to the community. And I said, exactly, that's what we're doing. So know that my office is accessible to Bill. Some of the team members are here. I see Danielle. Thomas is probably here somewhere. And I think Sally is. I think they're all here. They're raising their hands. Yes, all 3 of them. So thank you guys for, they also get to help represent me, because I am one person and we're a city of 500,000. So I'm going to hand right now to Councilman Burke.
So I thought something would be really fun. Michelle is really probably very upset that she's not here. So I thought we could do a selfie. Video selfie. Oh, we flip it. Here we go. Okay, so pretty much think about Michelle, right? 1, 2, 3. Michelle. Tori. Hey, you know, the one thing, big takeaway I got tonight was transparency, but in a different way. I think a lot of these folks just don't know how to navigate some of the great programs and things that we have in the city. And I think what we could do is try to figure out some way to communicate some of the really cool stuff that we do. I mean, I heard a lot about, kids finding another path for like programs and stuff. We talked quick about careers in construction. I don't know who's heard of careers in construction out here. So there you go, right there. It's an awesome program. We have national awards for our careers in construction program. Yeah. So I think one of the things I think we have to do is kind of talk about what we're doing, right? Yeah. And then on the other side of that transparency, helping them find a navigating tool that gets to the problem that they're trying to solve, right? We need to find better pathways for you all to get solutions, right? So that's my big takeaway. Well, you want me to talk about it?
I asked him to talk about mental health.
All right, so I'll talk about mental health really quick. But she said I had 2 minutes. This isn't a 2 minute. Let me tell you that I am in the works of some really cool stuff that's coming out with mental health that we're going to put together. We have eight initiatives that we shared at the mayor city council retreat that we just had, and we got some low-hanging fruit. One idea. You ready for this? We gotta get this mental health problem upstream. Like, we gotta get to know one. So we're gonna take a weekend in 2024, some weekend, and try a goal of having 1,000 block parties happen throughout the city. What do you think? I mean, let's meet our neighbors, right? I mean, that's kind of where it starts. So I'll just leave it at that. She has said hard stop. See, I'm obeying. She is running this program.
Okay. Other piece to is making sure you guys get another opportunity to go with each other. There was a lot shared here. I saw a lot of snapping and co-signing on ideas. So I want to give you an opportunity to go see that person at table 4, or table 22, or table 25. It's also important that you get a few minutes of FaceTime with the mayor. I mean, on a hard stop, it's a Friday night, but we wanted you to have an opportunity to see him and stand if you want to, as well as council member Lyon. Another way that we want you to know how you can continue this conversation after this, because it should not stop. You should still be engaged, continue to be engaged, pull each other together, and try to find some solutions. Kono is here, okay? They have a table up there as you exit the area. Please take some of their information. We usually have a moment for them to... We're not going to do that tonight. They're not going to... Talk a little bit for them. Next, keep having to say this over and over and over and over. If an idea comes to your mind, take a survey. Find my card on the table and email me. I know there was concerns about the city not, giving information back. You're going to get information back from me. We're going to do feedback summaries for each and every district, and there'll be information on the website as well if you don't feel comfortable giving your email address. So, I want to thank you guys all for leaning into this process. Loves this process, and we're going to use it as often as we can. So, now, please stand up. We're going to turn the fans back on because it's hot. And we encourage you to shake a neighbor's hand, all right?